An amazing situation. The Muslims, they waited. We Muslims, we misunderstood the message. Allah says wait, and we waited for what? 800 years. Allah Ta'ala gave us rule, dominion, power in Spain. In Spain, the Muslims ruled Spain for 800 years. They created a garden, beautiful country. They enjoyed the fruits of this life. But they didn't do the job. They didn't do the job. They didn't propagate the faith. So after 800 years of Muslim rule, they were wiped out to a man. There was not one man left in that country to give the azan. Do you know that? After 800 years, can you imagine the situation that you live and rule a nation for 800 years and you are wiped out to a man, not one man to give the azan? Why? Because you didn't do the job. Allah says, فَتَرَبَّصُوا, you wait, and they waited. Waited for destruction. These Arabs, these were our brothers. Who Spain? They were our brothers. And they were reading the Quran. They were reading the Holy Quran. And they understood the Quran. Unlike the non-Arabs. 90% of the Muslims of the world are non-Arabs. We read the Quran like a parrot. That's how we were trained to read, like a parrot. We read it for sawab, for blessings, and inshallah Allah will give us sawab. He will reward us. Maybe He will give us double reward. But unfortunate part is that we don't know what we are reading. We are not getting instructions. These Arabs, they read the Quran in their own mother tongue. They understood what Allah was telling them. And yet they didn't heed the warning. They read in the Quran. Kam taraku min jannatin wa uyun. He said, how many were the gardens and the fountains they left behind? Wazu'in wa makamin kareem. And cornfields and monumental buildings. Wa ni'matin kanu fiha fakihin. And wealth and the amenities of life in which they took so much delight. What is it? Come. أَوْرَثْنَاهَا قَوْمًا آخَرِينَ. He said, thus other people were made to inherit these things. فَمَا بَقَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَا كَانُوا مُنْزَرِينَ. Neither the heavens nor the earth shed a tear for them, nor was respite given to them anymore. This is the warning Allah gives. How many were the gardens and the fountains they left behind? You go to Spain, the only thing you can see in Spain is the Alhambra, the Granada, whatever forefathers left. You see those monumental buildings. You see the fountains there. You see the fountains there and the gardens laid out by our ancestors. There is nothing else to see in Spain except bullfights. Any other thing to see in Spain is bullfights. You know bullfights. And the castanets. The women, when they do the little dance, they do the click, click, click. They have something in the hands. Besides that, there is nothing in Spain except what our forefathers left. They're reading these verses of the Quran. They're repeating these verses of the Quran. But they are laughing at the Egyptians. People of Firaun. How many were the gardens and the fountains they left behind. And cornfields and monumental buildings. You see the fools, the Egyptians, they didn't learn. 8 plagues, 9 plagues, plagues after plagues Allah sent to them. Destroyed Firaun and his army. It's a big louse of fools. They didn't heed the warning. They didn't know that they were in the firing line themselves. You are in the firing line. They're laughing at the other fool. This is the nature of man, all of us. We laugh at the other fellow when we see that it is we who are in the mess. They didn't heed the warning. Allah says, فَتَرَبَّصُوا. They did فَتَرَبَّصُوا. Allah says, wait. And they waited. For what? For destruction. And destroyed. The Middle East. Under Harun al-Rashid, Mahmud al-Rashid. A veritable fairyland. A veritable fairyland. Baghdad, Samarkand, Bukhara. The scenes that existed then, you can't reproduce those scenes anymore except on films. Hollywood is the only one that can do it. In real life, no more. The beauty, the riches, the opulence. No more. You can't produce those things anymore. On the borders were the Mongols. The Tatars, barbarians. We laughed at them, fools. Those fools. What can you talk to them about Islam? What can they understand about Islam? The Spanish people, the Arabs reason. What can they understand about Islam? Pig eaters. These are all pig eaters. Who? The Spanish people. They are wine bibbers, drunkards. What can they understand about Islam? These Mongols, barbarians, what can they understand about Islam? This is the mentality. Allah says, "Fatarabbasu." These Muslims are our brothers. They kept nice beards, better than mine. Yes, they prayed 5 times a day. They read the Subh, the Tasbih. They went for Hajj. They gave zakat. They didn't drink. They didn't gamble. They didn't dance. Wonderful Muslims. Good Muslims. Wallah, they were good Muslims. Perhaps as good as us or better than us. But they didn't propagate the faith. They didn't share the faith. With the Mongols, barbarians, what can they understand? I said, your forefathers could. You Arabs, your forefathers, before Islam, that era we call it Ayyamul Jahiliyyah, the days of ignorance. No? Ayyamul Jahiliyyah, the days of ignorance. These Arabs, our ancestors, they married their stepmothers. Did the Spanish people do that? They buried their daughters alive. Did the Mongols do that? Drunkards, adulterers, gamblers, fratricidal wars. They made the tawaf around the Kaaba absolutely naked. Men and women, not even a G-string. These white women, they put a G-string. You know that little piece. These Arabs, they didn't even have that around the Kaaba. They reasoned very beautifully. They said, what can we present ourselves before Allah that is good enough? Said, so we present ourselves as Allah sent us into the world. Very good logic. They made the tawaf absolutely naked, these Arabs. Allah could transform them through His book, Al-Quran Al-Kareem. With His revelation, He could transform them into a nation of torchbearers and light and learning. He could do that to you. Rubbish. You who married your stepmothers, you who buried your daughters alive, He could change you. He can't change the Spanish people? No. He can't change through Allah's kalam the Mongols? No. That's your mentality. Allah says, "Fatarabbasu." You wait. And they waited. Sometimes we misunderstand instructions. Allah says wait, it doesn't mean wait. It's a warning. Like somebody, a small boy here, 10-year, 12-year-old, suppose he's misbehaving and you give him a smack. So he tells you, he says, "Uncle, wait, I'll bring my big brother along." And his big brother happens to be the biggest bully, biggest hooligan in Manhattan. You're going to wait for him? You're going to wait for him? He's telling you to wait. Uncle, wait. No, that wait doesn't mean wait. He's warning you. He said, look, you wait. Let my brother come. No, he will fix you right. A Frenchman was learning English. Trying to learn English. You see, sitting in a skyscraper, one of your Manhattan skyscrapers, learning English. Just come from overseas. Mastering English. He's mastering English grammar. And sitting near the window, he hears a shout. Look out! Look out! And he looked out, and a brick grazed him. Fortunately, he didn't die. So what's this? He said, look out. So I looked out. He says, no, the Englishman said, when you say look out, means pass off, be warned, don't look out. Look in. When I say look out, means look in, don't look out. Misunderstanding. You think Allah is making us to misunderstand this? No. He's warning us. Look out. Fatarabbasu means look out. Means be careful. Who cares? And this is Allah's law. There is a law. Allah Bari Ta'ala is working according to His own law. He is not bound by any law, but there is a law. Everything according to law. There is a law that Allah puts certain honor. He gives you certain honor, certain position, certain status. And if you do not carry out your responsibilities according to that status Allah gives you, He will, as He says, يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا خَيْرَكُمْ. He will substitute in your place another people. ثُمَّ لَا يَكُونُ أَمْثَالَكُمْ. Then they won't be like you. It's an eternal law. In the religious history of mankind, Allah Bari Ta'ala chose the Jews in the first instance. He chose the Jews, the Yahudis, the Bani Israel for His blessings. He sent prophets after prophets to them. He gave them revelation after revelation. Out of the 4 heavenly books we affirm that we believe in. We say we believe in the Torah, we believe in the Zabur, we believe in the Injil, and we believe in the Furqan. Furqan is the Quran. Out of these 4 heavenly books, 75% are Jewish books. Torah sent to Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, a Jew. Zabur given to Hazrat Dawud alayhi salam, a Jew. Injil given to Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, a Jew. Jew. Of all the names we give our children, prophetic names, holy names, we say Musa, Dawood, Sulaiman, Ishaq. These are Jewish names. Jews. We give them not because they are Jewish names, because these are the names of the righteous servants of God. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam, Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. For that reason we give these names to our children. They are the names of the righteous servants of God. We give our children Jewish names. We believe in 75% of the books. Almost all the prophets that we know, except our Nabi Karim, were Jews, or Jewish background. Allah chose them. Allah tells us in the Quran, Ya Bani Israel, askuru ni'mati allati an'amtu alaykum. He says, O children of Israel, remember the special favors which I did unto you. Wa anni faddaltukum ala al-alamin. That I preferred you above all the peoples of the earth for my special favors. Allah preferred them. He chose them to become the torchbearers of His light and learning to the world. But they made the religion a racial religion. You have to be born a Jew to be a Jew. You can't become a Jew. You know that? You have to be born one to be a Jew. If you want to, the white man in South Africa, sometimes they fall in love with a Jewish girl, and the Jewish girl, if she is in a particular, says, no, I can't marry you unless you become a Jew. So they have to go through a process. They have to master Hebrew. They have to learn more than the rabbi, the priest. And one man, he writes in the newspaper, and at the age of 23, he says, I was painfully circumcised to become a Pakka Jew, complete. And yet he is a third grade Jew. He's still not accepted. You can go through all the process, but you're still a third grade Jew. That's why it's not for the blacks. We are blacks. I'm black in South Africa. We are not wanted at all. You black, my brother. You're not wanted at all. The Arab is black in my country. If he's a Muslim. If he's a Lebanese Christian, he is white. Lebanese Muslim, black. Syrian Christian, white. Syrian Muslim, black. Cypriot Greek is white. Cypriot Turk, even with blonde hair and blue eyes, he is black. That's a sickness. That's besides the point. We are not discussing that. We talk about ourselves.